Merry meet YouTube. My name is Hawthorne Sagebrush, and welcome to the first video of the YouTube Pagan Challenge. This one is about how I found my path. So let's get started. My path seems to be a long and convoluted one. Basically, I didn't grow up with a religion, which is kind of weird for a lot of people. I guess you could say socially Christian, celebrating, Christmas in a very commercial way, and celebrating Easter in the sense of, yeah, chocolate, yeah. And that's really it. My father is technically Christian, but he doesn't go to church. And my mom, I guess she's socially Christian as well, but doesn't really do much for it. She goes to Mass on Christmas Eve because she likes the pageantry, I think. So, yeah. Basically, with that, my grandmother, who, on my dad's side, my paternal grandmother, she was Anglican. So I would go to church with her sometimes, but it wasn't like super intensely on me. I don't think I've been baptized even, really. No, I don't think I've been baptized even. So yeah, I didn't really grow up with a lot of religious influence. Other than culturally, but that's another video. So yeah, it's a little weird not growing up with growing up without a religion here in Maritimes of Canada. So basically, when I got to grade 10, I was suddenly like, hey, I don't have a religion. That's weird, because I'm not atheist. Like, I have spiritual beliefs, and I knew that I had spiritual beliefs. And I decided to write those beliefs down. Sorry about the cars. I'm actually really close to a road. I'm just on like a walking trail. But basically, I was like, I do have beliefs, so why don't I just write those down? So I decided to write down my beliefs. Like, what did I believe in? Like, okay, I believe in reincarnation. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay. What about gods and goddesses? Like, how do I feel about that? And I was like, I believe that every god or goddess that anyone has ever worshipped exists. Like, that's just how I feel. I just feel like they are there and that people worship them for a reason. They might be, I was like, they might be representations of the same thing in the end, but that's the way I felt. I just felt like they're all real. They're all there. So, because I always felt that everyone was valid. So that's kind of where I was approaching it from. And I started taking, like, what religion are you quizzes online. This is before BuzzFeed quizzes, people. This is, what year was this? 2007? Am I dating myself? I'm 23, if you need to know how old I am. But yeah, so 2006, 2007, I was doing what religion are you quizzes, and it kept coming up. Hinduism was the closest to my beliefs, and I started to study Hinduism and kind of like get a little more knowledge into it, and I found it fascinating, but I found it very difficult because I come from a smaller town. This is a small city, which is kind of like a big town, I guess. But basically, I was like, without anyone here that practices Hinduism to talk to, I don't really know anything about it. So I kind of, I would do some meditations, or I'd still look up like different gods or goddesses and like look into them. But it wasn't until the summer between grade 10 and 11 when my theater troupe in my town did hair. And I love hippies, by the way. At this time, I was a huge, like, hippy-dippy freak. So I decided that I wanted to see hair, and I had to see hair. So I saw it, and in hair, if you didn't know, the Maha Mantra is in hair. And it got stuck in my head so hard. It was insane. Like, I couldn't stop singing it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I could not stop singing it, and it was like mind-blowing. So I decided to look it up. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean that I'm saying? And I found Krishna consciousness that way. So I started practicing Krishna consciousness, which, if you didn't know, Krishna consciousness is a kind of like a subset of Hinduism that was brought to the West by Srila Prabhupada. But, yeah, Srila Prabhupada. I don't know his full name. His divine glory, something. Anyway, I practiced that for like a long time. And I came to here, this city, to do university, which I have now graduated from. But I came here for university, and I found Krishna consciousness monks, and I thought they were really cool. So hung out with them, did a lot of Krishna consciousness stuff. So I definitely come from a Krishna consciousness background, and that is not away from me. I'm not away from that. I still hang out with the monks when they come into town. I still chant, I still do all kinds of things, but I just adopted it into this new practice that I have, which I found because the person who I kind of considered my mentor for a long time, but it turns out I'm actually like her grandmother, which is not like incesty weirdness, no, not like that, kind of like reincarnated grandmother. That's what we think. We're half joking and half serious. We think that I might be her reincarnated grandmother. Anyway, we were talking, we met through this whole other thing, this whole LGBT like group thing, and that's how we met. And so we hung out with that for a long time, and she's a witch. So we kind of, that LGBT group kind of petered off and people stopped going, and we decided to end it, and we just stayed friends on Facebook. And then she invited me to a Samhain ritual for the witch community here, which had petered off for a long time and been very underground for a while, but she decided that they bring it out of the shadows and let people join. And this was back when we had a very open door policy, and it at that time it was the best way to have it, but after that it became crazy. So yeah, we decided, basically I went to that Samhain 2012 ritual, and that was like a change. Oh, no, sorry, before this, sorry, it's a long convoluted story. My girlfriend, before this, was a pagan, was a witch, and I thought she was so cool. She's like this goth chick, and she's like kind of super intimidating and freaking out, and I'm just like, oh, but she's really cool, and she was my girlfriend for a while, and yeah, so she introduced it to me, and I read Cunningham's Guide for the Solitary Practitioner, which, as Hazel says, is kind of like a very common first book for people to read, which it really is, and I do love Cunningham. A lot of problems with Cunningham, but that's namely to do with the fact that he died in the 90s and 70s and 80s, was a time and a half, so you kind of have to contextualize and critical think and all that jazz. Anyway, that's when I kind of started practicing Krishna consciousness in a very pagan way. Like, I would work with Radha as goddess and Krishna as god, so like Radha Krishna. So I would do sort of things solitarily like that. But then, Samhain 2012, I came to the community, and right after that, they were like, is anyone interested in helping plan the Yule ritual? We would like to have a ritual on every Sabbath, and we would really love to do that, and we need people to help plan. And I was like, you know what, I think I am really good at learning by doing. So I joined, and I said, yes, I'll help you plan Yule. And so that's how I came to my pagan path. But recently, a friend of mine was talking, who's was a Catholic, is now a heathen, fun stuff. Anyway, they told me about OBOD, Order of Bards, Obates, and Druids, and I thought, that sounds really interesting, and I decided I would purchase the Bardic course. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm studying the Bardic grade in the Order of Bards, Obates, and Druids. I'm not sure if I will ever really call myself a druid, or, well, I can't really be a druid because, long story short about, there's levels and you have to be in the level, but you have to do Bard and then Ovate, then Druid. That's what you gotta do. But I don't think I could, I don't know if I'm going to be going further in it. I'm not very far in the course now to really know what I want to do with it, but I think I don't mind being called a Bard. I don't mind it. So yeah, I practice paganism, and I've been studying OBOD, so that's pretty much what I've been doing a lot lately, and it's been fun. It's been very interesting, and I definitely feel like it's my calling. And I also have a degree in religious studies, and I'm going back soon to upgrade my major in religious studies to an honors in religious studies, just in case I want to go forward and do a master's, but I'm not really 100% sure if I want to do that yet. But yes, that's how I found my path. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I'm going to have to edit this now. I wanted to do a one take, but since those preteens stopped me, and I felt awkward filming with them like listening in on me. Yeah, so that's what I did. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Blessed be.